Well, hello and welcome. My name is Kubeir. Welcome to the channel. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not. And today's video is about the latest express entry draw, which was conducted today. IRCC conducted today's draw of express entry. Hold on before you get excited. There is nothing to get excited. This is just another of those regular draws which we have gotten used to. This was a PNP program specific draw. In express entry, there are only three programs. So you have your federal skilled worker, you have Canadian experience class, you have federal skilled trade category. But now IRCC, or rather over the last a year and a half, almost maybe more than that, IRCC has been identifying only those candidates who have received provincial nomination. So they have received nomination from any of the provinces which have an express entry linked program. Once they get this nomination, they will receive 600 points. Once they get the 600 points, they then become a provincial nominee. And IRCC has picked only those people and then invited them for today's express entry draw. Well, this express entry draw, as I said, was only PNP. And today's score is basically 796. That was the score for today's draw. 932 candidates were invited from the express entry pool. So if you technically remove the 600 points, then those people, or rather the lowest person who received the express entry draw for today was only at 196 by removing those 600 points. And is it possible to get make your profile at 196? It's absolutely possible. And this is for those people who have forgotten that there was an express entry draw on the 13th of February 2021 with the lowest express entry draw score ever, which was at 75. So if you are a Canadian experience class, you are in Canada, you have a low IELTS scores, you may be a bit over the age with grays here on the side. But if you can get a job offer from an employer, then it's absolutely possible. You can make your express entry profile. You can get the nomination. You can have only 196 points in CRS score and still get a nomination of 600 points and then be eligible for an express entry draw. So this is basically the crux of how people are still able to get a draw and an invitation based on their nomination. That was basically the technicality of it. Very quickly, jumping on to the official page. Obviously, we should always do the official page. So that's the express entry rounds of invitation. That's what happened over here. Oh, by the way, proof of funds, if you still haven't changed your proof of funds, now the date has been pushed forward to the 15th of July. That tells me that something is going to happen in the month of July. Probably that's the reason they have moved it to the 15th of July. So please, if you are a federal skilled worker, you haven't updated your proof of funds, please make sure you do that before the 15th of July so that your profile can remain valid. Now, as we go quickly down, scroll down. So today's draw on the 8th of June, draw number 224. Invitations issued for today's draw was 932. Lowest score was at 796. And this was a provincial nominee program specific draw. This basically is the official declaration. But what I want to talk to you today about is also this, and this is which is interesting, right? The pool breakdown. Pool breakdown is always interesting. So what are those numbers over there? In this pool breakdown, which is as of the 6th of June 2022, which was 2 days back, the number of people in the express entry pool at this point of time are 215,316. Now more than 2 lakh people in the express entry pool. And if I just take those numbers between 501 and 600, that is 7,637. The number of people in the pool between the score of 491 and 500 is 4,000 people there. And between 481 and 490, you have 7,545 people. So as of today, you have 19,193 people, candidates in the express entry pool with the score of more than 481. Why is this figure of 19,193 important? Why? Because all of us are obviously, fingers are crossed, and we are now hoping and waiting and expecting for the express entry draws to resume early July. That is what the immigration minister has said. And obviously, there is so much of speculation that has been ongoing about the occupation specific draws, and will it be generic draws, will it be knock based draws, etc., etc. So I'm not, in today's video, I'm not going to get into those aspects. We have already done that quite a lot. But very quickly, what I'm trying to do here is that we obviously discussed the internal memo from IRCC, where they have talked about the fact that they will be conducting a generic draw. Okay, that memo was dated in the month of March, number one. So it's going to be a generic draw. It also spoke about the fact that it would be including CEC and FSW. So generic draw, probably all program draw, is going to happen early July, hopefully first or second week. I mean, I would be expecting it within the first 10 days of July, fingers crossed for that. And it also indicated that they would be conducting the draws, or the number of invitations that would be issued would be at the pre-pandemic level. Now, the pre-pandemic level, the number of invitations per draw was between 3,200 to 3,900. That was the general range that the number of invitations were being issued, which basically, if I take an average without going into too much of complexities there, let's say on an average, they were issuing between 3,400 to 3,400, 3,500 ITS per draw. And that basically means if they have to clear 19,000 people from the express entry pool in order to break the 481 score barrier, they would have had to issue at least 6 draws, 6 express entry draws. And that is when you will break the 481 barrier. And this is considering it's an all program draw, generic draw, no occupation specific, no CEC draws, etc., etc. So you're looking at, for the scores to touch 481 and below, or to break the 480 barrier, you will need 6 express entry draws. So if the draws are to happen in July, August, September, those 3 months are gone, because if you're going to consider bi-weekly draws, 1 draw every 2 weeks, 6 draws gone, you're looking at the scores to drop to 480s, or rather 480 or anything below there, towards the end of July, August, September, towards the end of September or October. If nothing else has changed, that is what we are expecting. That's the reason for doing this video, is just to give you a bit of an insight, because there's so much of speculation. I know the new NOC system, which is tier system, training, education, experience, responsibilities, the new NOC system was expected to be introduced by November this year. And we are also expecting this Bill C-19, which is a finance-related bill with a small portion and component of changes in immigration, that is expected now, which is being pushed in the parliament. It is being pushed to sort of clear and be approved before the summer recess, which is on the 23rd of June. But even if the bill does get approved, it will take some time, I'm expecting, for IRCC to implement those changes, to basically create new ministerial instructions, to identify categories and make those changes. So I don't expect July, August, September to be those particular draws. Obviously, IRCC is known to surprise us and throw a spanner in all our plans. My expectation, my opinion, speculative, obviously, because there is no other way of making any kind of predictions otherwise, that these draws are going to be generic draws, all program draws, based on this NOC level, based on the CRS only. And I would imagine the NOC based draws would probably be towards the end of this year or early next year. My expectation, at least I'm hoping for so. But that's basically what I wanted to talk to you about today, which was a very, very quick video, just to give you the brief understanding of today's express entry draw and what are we looking forward as we move into the next few months. Obviously, July is already looking extremely exciting. And as I said, fingers crossed to see that draw happening sooner. Obviously, we are also anticipating the announcement of the postgraduate work permit extensions. I'm hoping that we should get that announcement by next week, if not within this week itself. And once that happens, I will of course come back and share that information with you as well. Well, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do. We would be happy to see those numbers going up. And do follow us on Instagram. And it's a fun place to be. We can always sort of chit chat there as well. I can see some questions. Let's see if there is something which we can look at very, very quickly. Let's see this one. My postgraduate work permit is expiring. I know that I need to stop working. Can I use earned leaves in between those gaps prior to applying to the 18th month extension? Well, technically you can. You have to stop working. Whatever is your paid leave is basically owed to you. The money is owed to you. The time is owed to you. And up to 2 weeks, you can expect to be counted, because that is what IRCC would usually do. So you could look at that. Of course, good idea to do that. So this draw is for those who are already in Canada, as it would be otherwise less than impossible to get an offer from other countries. No, this is basically for everybody, whether you are inside Canada or outside Canada. While the lowest score of 796 is possible primarily for people who are inside Canada, but that is not the only people who got the invitation. So people who had scores of 796 and above. Okay, so everybody who was above 796, and few of my clients have got their invitation and they were at the scores of 1,000 plus. So they already had 450, 460 points. They received Ontario nomination, got 600 points. Now they sit at 1,060, 1,070 kind of scores. And those are also there. So the draw is not only limited to people who are inside Canada, but I mean, people all across the world as well. I've also been able to receive invitations. All they had to do was get a nomination, which was linked to Express Entry, so they could get 600 points. What I was talking to you about was the lowest score, which is at 796, as to how is 796 possible. So it is possible, but for that to happen, obviously you should be inside Canada and you technically should have had a job offer to have received that nomination. So that's how it is happening. Any idea why OMP is taking longer to process nominations? Well, one theory was that because of the elections, which have already finished on the 2nd of June, a lot of their resources were engaged. And that was one of the reasons why there is a bit of a backlog that they are facing. But I think once now that the elections are all clear, it was basically going to go back to normal. But it is quite normal for them to take 3 months. 90 days is quite normal. And I have seen nominations coming through within 90 days, probably in some cases push to 100 days, but it's happening. Okay, please reply. Administrative assistant profile is under NOC B now, but in tier system, I cannot see this profile in tier 2. It will be in tier 3. Yes, it will be in tier 3, but tier 3 will also be eligible in Express Entry. So as far as the administrative NOC is concerned, there is no problem at all. Is there a possibility from visitor visa to work permit? Yes, it is absolutely possible. You can come to Canada as a visitor. You can visit Canada. You can meet with prospective employers. You can appear for interviews. And if you are able to secure a job offer from an employer in Canada, you can then obviously go to the nearest border and apply for a work permit. Or until the 28th of February 2023, you can also, while being in Canada as a visitor, also apply online for your work permit. There is no problem with that as well. Is there any update on postgraduate work permit extension, which includes even December expired people? We are hoping to see the information coming through probably by this week or next week. That is what was promised to everybody by Sean Fraser, the immigration minister. So yeah, just keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully you should hear the news about the postgraduate work permit extensions very, very soon. What about the NOC specific draws? I think we just covered that while we were discussing about the draws. Well, that's basically it. Why there is no pickup of 1311, I can't tell you, because Saskatchewan doesn't plan or announce, or rather announce its plans. Sorry, they don't announce their plans in advance as to what NOC they will invite. So, your guess is as good as mine. They could invite any kind of NOC based on their labor market requirements at any point of time. Well, once again, thank you very much for joining in. It was good catching up on the short notice. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care. And I shall see you next time.